Well, the NBA draft is over, and the Chicago Bulls are already making moves in free agency. I'm Ross. This is Arturas Fan Club, and honestly, you shouldn't be subscribed. You shouldn't subscribe to my channel. What you should do is join the Arturas Super Fan Club. Yes, that is channel membership. You get early access to videos. You get exclusive content. You get to pick the topic of my videos. You get super chats. You get exclusive emojis and badges, all that fun stuff. It is $4.99 a month. It is the best way to support my channel. If you like the content I make and you want more of it, please consider hitting that join button below this video. So, it just came down, the news just came down from Woj. The Bulls have extended the qualifying offer to Lauri Markkanen, which makes him a restricted free agent. Right off the bat, I want to say this was always going to happen. I see a lot of people out there who are concerned. A lot of Bulls fans don't want Lauri Markkanen back. Totally get it. I'm kind of in the same boat. But this was always going to happen because it gives the Bulls the most flexibility. Now, Lauri Markkanen could accept the qualifying offer. It would not be advantageous for him to do so. Not a whole lot more money, but he serves to make more money on the open market should he enter restricted free agency. The way this works, basically, the Bulls offer the qualifying offer, which would be basically in a continuation of his rookie deal. So he would be making the same amount of money for one more season, and then he would be an unrestricted free agent. Now, if he chose not to sign the qualifying offer, that means he is a restricted free agent this offseason. And that means that teams can sign him to offer sheets. He can take the offer sheet. The Bulls have the ability to match the offer sheet. So that's where the flexibility comes in, right? If the Bulls have the ability to match an offer sheet, for one, in some crazy scenario where maybe someone gives him a lowball offer and the Bulls want to bring him back, maybe that happens. Maybe the Bulls get a good deal on a contract for Lauri Markkanen. It's not my ideal option, but it's still an option. Like I said, this is about flexibility, not necessarily about making everyone happy right at this second. It also gives us the ability to execute a sign and trade with Lauri Markkanen, which obviously we've talked about sign and trades a lot on this channel, but the gist of it, if you're not familiar with the concept of the sign and trade, we sign him to a deal, then trade him to a team with the understanding that the team has kind of negotiated that deal in the background and they want to acquire Lauri Markkanen. So that's how that would work. They are able to go over the salary cap because basically the bird rights to Lauri Markkanen are being retained through the trade. You're able to sign him to more money and the Bulls are able to get assets in return. It's a win-win situation for the team that signs, and it's a win-win for the team that trades him away. Everyone seems to win in this scenario. Now, if it's a scenario where the team wants to keep the player and the player wants to go to another team and the other team gives him a very, very big offer sheet and the incumbent team doesn't want to match that, totally different situation. Lauri Markkanen is not in that position this offseason. Unfortunately for him, it's not the kind of scenario where the Bulls really want to retain him and it's going to cause a bidding war. Now, there has been a lot of reports from Woj, from Casey Johnson at NBC Sports Chicago, that Lauri Markkanen still has a lot of value around the league, and a lot of teams are going to be competing for his talents this offseason. So there is still a possibility where there's a bit of a bidding war and maybe Lauri Markkanen gets a bit of a bag. Great for him. I would hope in that scenario that the Bulls do not choose to match that offer sheet. That is one of the things that during Arturas Karnisovas's end of season press conference, he was asked about, and his answer to Lauri Markkanen's potential free agency was that they want him, they like him, he's talented, they think he has a bright future, this, and that. And at that time, people got really upset about that too. And once again, I want to remind you that this is a business. There are business decisions being made behind the scenes. It is not a smart business decision to crap on a player who could potentially net you assets in return, right? So if Arturas Karnisovas goes into that press conference and says, well, we didn't really like what we saw, if he ends up leaving, that's what ends up happening. It is what it is. No, it makes more sense for Arturas Karnisovas to say, we want him around. We feel he has value, because teams around the league will see that and they will say, okay, if he's so valuable, what will you give? What could we give you to get him? if everyone knows that Lauri Markkanen is gone and that the team doesn't want him anymore, there's no value there. There's no value in a sign and trade. Teams can offer him, low ball offer sheets. The thing here with the sign and trade, which I got into a little bit of a spat on Twitter about this, if the Bulls were to execute a sign and trade for Lonzo Ball, there would be a hard cap instituted to the Bulls this league year. That's how that works. The NBA generally has a soft cap. It's something we've talked about before as well, but the hard cap would come into play about $5 or $6 million above the luxury tax. So if you remember, when we've talked about contracts, there is the salary cap. That is your raw salary for unrestricted free agents. And then you can go above that number into the luxury tax if you're doing, sign in trades, if you're retaining a player on their bird rights, if you're using the mid-level exception. Those kind of things allow you to go above the salary cap and into that luxury tax. And the luxury tax is like $139 million. It's some crazy number, but it's higher than the salary cap. And then once you go $5 or $6 million above that, that is the tax apron that hard caps you after you execute a sign and trade. So that might sound a little scary. It's not. It's more of a formality. If the Bulls had a lot of really good players that they were trying to retain this season, that would be a problem. Because it becomes more of a problem when you have players on your team that you want to re-sign using their bird rights, and then you're hard capped. Right? Because if you want to go above that salary cap number and into that luxury tax and into the soft cap, you want to be able to use as much money of your bird rights as possible. You want to be able to spend as much money on the players that are already on your team to bring them back. The Bulls are not in that kind of situation right now. So if they do get hard capped in a sign and trade for Lonzo Ball, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to negatively affect what the Bulls are trying to do in free agency this offseason, right? Because they're already somewhat limited in the money that they can spend. And if you need a full cap breakdown, I just did one the other day. I used Lonzo Ball as the example, but I did a full breakdown on how the salary cap works and how the Bulls can make some moves this offseason by clearing some of that cap space. But all of this is to say, giving Lauri Markkanen the qualifying offer retains flexibility, and that's why the Bulls are doing it. It doesn't mean that he's coming back. It doesn't mean that the Bulls are even interested in bringing him back. It just means that the Bulls are keeping their options open. And guess what? The Bulls can rescind the qualifying offer at any time. Okay? If they feel like they have a chance at signing Lonzo Ball outright and they don't need to execute a sign and trade, they can rescind the offer sheet or the qualifying offer at any time. So once again, this is all about flexibility. This is not a sign of things to come. This does not mean Lauri Markkanen is here to stay. It doesn't necessarily mean Lauri Markkanen is leaving either. I understand that, both sides of everything, but it is purely for flexibility. They are keeping their options open, and that is what I expect from a smart front office, to keep their options open. So if a team does want to give you something for Lauri Markkanen, let's do it. Okay. And if we want to get something back, maybe we go over that luxury tax or into the luxury tax in a sign and trade. That's advantageous for us, right? As a team that's cap strapped, being able to trade away a player like Lauri Markkanen and bring back salary when we're already struggling to clear salary as it is, having that flexibility is so key. And that's why a sign and trade, I feel, is very advantageous for the Bulls this offseason. Now, next offseason, maybe not. Okay, next offseason, we're looking at Zach LaVine up for a contract extension. You don't want to be hard capped when you have to pay your best player, right? We're looking at maybe Kevin Durant being available in free agency. Okay, you don't want to be hard capped if you have the ability to go out there and maybe get Kevin Durant. So those are things that next offseason I wouldn't want to be hard capped. But like I said, if they do execute a sign and trade this offseason, the hard cap is only instituted for the league year. So next offseason, it wouldn't be a problem. So all of that is to say, this was coming, right? This is not a shock. I expected this. I was just waiting for when the news would actually come down. So nothing about this is shocking. I won't get too far into it, but Cubs fans are having a rough day. And I know Cubs / Bulls fans probably saw this news and were like, well, how worse could this day get? I want to remind you guys that this is not bad news. It is just news. That's it. It's not good news necessarily. It's not bad news either. It's just news. So don't get too caught up in it. And shout out to my Cubs fans out there. I hope you guys are doing okay. Try to have a good day. Try to drink some water, and then drink some beer, and then drink some more water, and then drink some hard alcohol, and then drink some more water. Just pair it with water. It's a rough day. If you're not a Cubs fan, congrats. You're probably having a better day than we are. So that's all. I'm going to let it go there. There's really not much else to talk about. Lauri Markkanen has been extended the qualifying offer. We will see what decision he makes. Likely to turn that down, likely to enter restricted free agency. It makes more sense for him and makes more sense for the team. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. As always, whenever news breaks, I'm your guy. You know where to go. Make sure to subscribe. Join the Arturis Super Fan Club for, like I said, exclusive videos, early access to videos. The Super Fan Club, there's already people in it, and they got this video before you guys did. Okay, so if you're in it, you get it. If you're not, you gotta wait. And you also get exclusive videos, emojis, badges, all the fun stuff. If you're not interested in that, it's totally fine. Nothing's gonna change with my channel. You're still gonna get this great content. Just make sure to subscribe. Subscribing helps me too. So thank you guys again for all the love and support. Shout out to Io DeSunmu. Still hyped about that. If you haven't watched my video on Io DeSunmu, go watch that one. That was great. We did a live stream last night too. You guys can peep that. All that stuff is on my channel. Thank you guys again for hanging out, and we will talk very soon.